Um, anyway, quite soon, on the first day, I realized that there was an audition for a violin opening in the Boston Symphony in 2 weeks' time. And that was an audition which I managed to win and became a member of the Boston Symphony. The following summer of 1974, of course, I went to Tanglewood again, but not as a student anymore, but as a member of Boston Symphony. And of course, Leonard Bernstein was there to conduct a very special concert in memory of Serge Koussevitzky. And that concert was the first piece, Classical Symphony of Prokofiev, was conducted by Aaron Copland. The second piece, Adagietta from Mahler 5, he conducted in memory of Koussevitzky, and then after intermission he conducted Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5. And so after the concert, Michael and I went right back to him, and he was sitting usually only in his trousers and only a huge towel on his wet shoulders and signing his cards, you know. And I managed to get one card ahead of the time with his picture and presented to him, and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, you know that what happened in Rome never happened before, never." That's what he said. And then he was signing his name, and he said, "Boys, about Tchaikovsky Fifth Symphony, was it Russian enough for you?" That's what he asked us. I mean, I was totally amazed.
Wow.
And of course we said yes. And then 2 years later, also at Tanglewood, he conducted another piece with us, which was Faust Symphony by Franz Liszt. And that concert was followed by short trip to Symphony Hall in Boston for a repeat with public, but for video, which is now available on Amazon, and I actually bought it recently. And you could see the whole Boston Symphony and Lenny conducting us the Faust Symphony of Liszt, and that was absolutely perfect performance with whole packed to the rim and totally silent. And then you could see me as age 34 principal second violinist playing my solos with a perfect bow grip from Moscow. So that is anyway, but of course my association with Leonard Bernstein did not stop there, because I was so deeply moved by his involvement in my life that I started to read about him, and of course I have all kinds of books about him, and I followed his career and everything he conducted on radio, TV, or in person. I tried to see. And sure enough, when he passed away, I received special invitation to a concert in his memory, which was done by his friends only in Carnegie Hall. And I was so touched that I was included to be a part of it. Well, that was a small circle of probably 2,500 people. But the fact that I received this invitation to be present in that performance in his memory was very, very touched. Well, the first piece was conducted by Eschenbach, and then Merlin Horn was singing. I mean, they were just unbelievable. And of course, Pinky Zuckerman was there too. And the last piece, orchestra, New York Philharmonic, played without conductor, just in his memory. And they played Overture to Candide, just in his memory, without conductor. So it was extremely moving event for me, and I was very happy to be there. But what I learned from this visit and from my encounters with Lenny Bernstein is a very simple idea that my own inspiration in life are actually very similar, which are in diversity. Because when he was asked, "Are you primarily a conductor?" and he said, sometimes, because he never thought of himself as branching into one narrow path in music. He was much more than conductor, because he was educator, he was trailblazer, he was a fantastic teacher, he was a composer and a pianist and conductor and civil leader as well. I will never forget once when we had political debates about proliferation of the nuclear arms. He came on stage of the shed at Tanglewood in his usual jacket, but he had blue ribbon over his left arm, right here, blue ribbon, which was signal I am for peace. And he insisted that all his entourage, they all had blue ribbon here. So in other words, he was not a man who was perfectly like on the speaking engagements. No, but he made every possible gesture with his art and otherwise to show where he was.